A very good morning to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Swami Vivekanand, Subharti University, Meerut, India, Major General G.K. Thapiyal sir, respected Chief Executive Officer, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Meerut, India, Professor Dr. Shailya Raj, expert speaker from Graduate Institute of Human Resource Development, National Changhua University of Education, Taiwan, Dr. I. Cheshu, Dean, Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Meerut, India, Professor Dr. Sandeep Kumar sir, Head, Department of Education, Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Professor Dr. Anuj Raj, faculty members and students. I extend a very warm welcome on behalf of Department of Education, Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Meerut, India, to everybody joining us online in today's guest lecture. I am Dr. Mumtaz Sheikh, Assistant Professor in Department of Education, Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, and it is a matter of great pride and privilege to have the opportunity of moderating this lecture. As we are aware, the topic of today's guest lecture is Human Resource and Sustainable Development Challenges and Resolutions. The concept of sustainable development was formalized in 1987 at the same time with the publishing of the Brundtland Report by the World Commission on Development and Environment. Sustainable development focuses on meeting the needs of the present and future generations. So, reflection on it is the need of the hour, especially with reference to the excuse me for a minute. Sustainable development focuses on meeting the needs of the present and future generations. So, reflection on it is the need of the hour, especially with reference to the human resource. Various challenges coming in its way as well as its resolution. The topic of today's guest lecture is very vital and burning one in the recent scenario. Hence, this theme was selected for today's guest lecture. We have the Dean of Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Professor Dr. Sandeep Kumar amidst us to elaborate further on the topic of today's guest lecture as well as introduce the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Swami Vivekanand Subharti University. Professor Dr. Sandeep Kumar sir is presently the Dean in the Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Meerut. He is a renowned academician, an efficient administrator, and a multi-dimensional personality. Sir is an alumnus of Lakshmi Bai National Institute of Physical Education, Gwalior, which is a renowned educational institution in India. He has acquired his post-graduation degree in physical education from Barkatullah University, Bhopal. He also has a sound academic record with numerous books to his credit. He has provided his expert guidance for the award of 9 PhDs and 17 dissertations at PG level. The list is endless and time short. So now I request Professor Dr. Sandeep Kumar sir to kindly address our distinguished audience as well as invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor to address.
Audible?
Yes, sir.
Very good morning and Jai Hind to one and all. I first of all heartily welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Major General G.K. Thaplial, sir, on this today's guest lecture, which is entitled as Human Resource and Sustainable Development Challenges and Resolution, conducting by Department of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University. I also welcome our distinguished guest of the day, Professor I. Shu Shu. He is the professor in Graduate Institute of Human Resource Management, National Changhua University of Education, Taiwan. I also welcome all the participants, listeners who have joined us on the online platform of Sankan Subharti University. I congratulate the Department of Education for taking an initiative for choosing a such wonderful topic, as we all know that in present time policy in higher education as well as in school education. New education policy also having the direct role of human resource and sustainable development to develop in the country. The new education policy must help recruit by very best and brightest to enter the teaching profession at all levels by ensuring livelihood, respect, dignity, and autonomy, while also instilling in the system basic methods of quality control and accountability. As so much many developed countries around the world have amply demonstrated, being well educated in one's language, culture, and tradition is not a determined but indeed a huge benefit to educational, social, and technological advancement. The sports integration is another cross curricular pedagogical approach that utilize physical activities, including indigenous sports, in pedagogical practices to help the developing skills such as the collaboration, self initiative, self directions, self disciplines, teamwork, responsibility, citizenship, etc. The need of integrated sports in education is well recognized as it serves to foster holistic development by promoting physical activities, physical health, psychological well being, while also enhancing cognitive abilities. When we are talking about the knowledge of India, it includes knowledge from ancient India and its contribute to modern India and its successes and challenges, a clear sense of India future aspirations with regard to the education, health, environment, etc. So far as today's topic is concerned with human resource sustainable development challenges and resolution, we will listen to our distinguished speaker on the topic. I again heartily welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, on this occasion of guest lecture and all other participants. Thank you. Jai Hind. I think there is a few network connection issues, technical issue. Dr. Mumtaz, are you listening me?
Then there's just a small issue, sir. We'll resolve it very shortly. Please excuse us for the short while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Major General G.K. Tapial, sir, to kindly address the audience. Please, sir.
Okay. Jai Hind. Am I audible, Madam Mamta? Hello. Am I audible? Will somebody respond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Am I audible, Dr. Mamta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I'm requesting you to respond. You did not.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. So, Jai Hind, everyone present during this webinar. I, on behalf of Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, extend a warm welcome to all, and particularly to our chief speaker, who comes from one of our collaborator partner, academic partner. He is Ai Shin Shu. He is the PhD Distinguished Professor from Graduate Institute of Human Resource Management, National Changhua University of Education, Taiwan. We have an MOU with this university, and I'm glad to see the first time there's interaction happening between our university and this university, and we have a very prominent and very eminent speaker. I thank uh, Dr. Ranoj Raj for having organized this webinar, and I also thank the Faculty of Education for taking such an initiative. Uh, Dr. Chen, I welcome you to this seminar, and I also welcome other distinguished guests, speaker, and all participants, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University. The topic of the webinar is it's a wonderfully designed, and its title is Human Resource and Sustainable Development, Challenges and Resolution. When we talk about development and we talk about the human resource, both are interlinked with each other. Actually, the development generally it is for the human, it is by the human. But but it though it is for the human by the human, but the large number of ecosystem, including the planet Earth, is gets affected by the development. If we go back into the history and take understand about the human evolution, how the humans have evolved over 2.5 billion years. They have gone through the Stone Age, they have gone through the Iron Age, Bronze Age, and thereafter the cognitive revolution in the human's mind, which led migration from one place to another place. They left their original place from the East Africa and went all around the planet Earth. And then there was another evolutionary stage which came that's very important. That was the agriculture. When the human started domesticating the animal and domesticating the uh, plants, that was a very, very significant period in the human's life, and the development started from that time onwards. And then came another revolution, that was the industrial revolutions. An industrial revolution led to further development, and this industrial revolution led to another that is called scientific revolutions. And in the scientific revolution, which is going on at present, and currently we are going through a digital revolutions. So all these revolutionary stages in the human evolutions have definitely created lot of uh, infrastructures, lot of changes, lot of demographic changes, lot of ecological changes, and these ecological changes, these geographical changes have directly or indirectly impacted the human, not only human, but the all living creatures, including plants in this planet Earth. So when we talk about the sustainable development, how we are going, whether the current development through which we are going, it's going to remain sustainable, or it is going to be disastrous after a few years, or couple of or 100 years after. So that is the point of deliberation. That is the issue we need to think and revisit. That kind of a development, or the kind of a scientific revolution, or the kind of a industrial revolutions we have gone through, it has impacted the human life, and further it is going to impact the human life in the future. The way the pace, or the kind of a revolution, or the kind of a development is going on the planet Earth, it has impacted the life of the planet Earth, and also the future of the human, whether the human who is presently today enjoying on the planet Earth is going to stay for longer or not. That is the question we should ask. So if we need a sustainable development, if we have to see whatever the development which sustains the ecosystem, which sustain the human life, and which sustains all living creature on this planet Earth, in real sense, that will be the real development. So human is the most important component of this development. So therefore, this relationship of human with the development and sustainable, that needs to be deliberated upon. And whatever comes out of this webinar, whatever our honored guest speakers will be speaking, I'm sure all participants will benefit a lot by his lecture. And not only they will just take note of whatever he's speaking, they will also implement in their life whatever that our honored speaker speaks today. And he will be speaking from his own experience and from his own subject, because this is his choice, a subject of interest, human resource management. I welcome you, Mr. Chai Hoon, again to Subharti University, and wish you to remain in touch with you, not only for this webinar, but in the coming future also. We connect with each other. We are the academic partner, and we should have the exchange of ideas, exchange of thoughts quite frequently and quite often. So I'll request Dr. Anoj Raj to organize such kind of interactive sessions, such kind of exchange webinars in future too. Thank you very much once again, all the guest speakers and participants. Wish you all the best and a great learning experience from this webinar. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Your words were indeed enlightening for all of us. Sir, you very efficiently dealt on the topic and made us realize the significance of this very important topic, and how it is very important for all the people surviving on this planet to continue to survive further, to give importance on this significant topic. Now, I request our Head of Department of Education, Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Professor Dr. Anuj Raj, to kindly introduce the eminent expert on this subject, Dr. I. Cheshu. So, with these words, I request our Head, Professor Dr. Anuj Raj, to kindly address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mumtaz. And first of all, I thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, because he just delivered his speech about the what is need in present scenario and what we should now do for the sustainable development in our future. So I thank you, sir. I really, it is appreciable just you have just delivered here. And thanks for your supporting that you have just given the chance to just organize the such activity and under the MOU signed with the National Changhua University of Education, Taiwan. I really thanks to all the peoples, those who are just join us participation, and I also thanks to the professor I chair Heshu from the Graduate Institute of Human Resource Management, National Changhua University of Education, Taiwan. And it is my privilege that I introduce the Professor Che Heshu to in this platform because he is from the National Changhua University of Education and he did his PhD from the University of Manchester, UK. And after that, if at present he is just a professor at the Graduate Institute of Human Resource Management, and Graduate Institute of Management is the top three institution of human resource management in Taiwan, and which is established with the aim to develop the master's student to serve in the business arena. Really, it is a great privilege for us. And Dr. Heshu research focuses on how to leadership and organization variables affects motivational and behavioral and outcome construct of individual and group of individuals. He works extended to include understanding how organizational innovations and capabilities are created, developed, and strengthened. He published a major business and management journals. He served on the editorial board of Frontiers in Psychology. He served on the editorial board of IEEE Transactions on the engineering management. He was just appointed the section editor of the SU at SAN Manager Review, A-level index journal, and Dr. Hesu attended professional organizations such as Association of Talent Development. In addition, he addresses lectures to business leaders and HR managers on the strategies, human resource management, platform management, knowledge management, and many more. He did consulting work for the business enterprise as well. Seizing the opportunity to speak to highlight STEAM Education College, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Dr. Hesu would mainly like to share and exchange idea on the following human resource management and its impact, human resource management in response to changing time, and he will also spoke about the dialogue between the human resource management expertise and education institute. Now, sir, I invite you, and he will just explain so many other ideas here. Now, I invite Professor Cheshu for his lectures, and now, Professor Cheshu, the online platform is now yours. Please welcome you in the Subharti University online platform, sir. Sir,
Hello,
please.
can you hear me well?
Yeah, if we can listen to you, sir, please.
Um,
Yeah, please start, sir.
yes, I'm trying to upload my PowerPoint slides.
Okay. Sir,
Yes, are you able to read my PowerPoint slides?
yes, send, sir, is this to my mail, sir. Then I will attach it from here. Yes.
Sorry about the delay. This is the first time I use this online platform
Okay.
to give a talk. Obviously,
Yeah, you can just directly start, sir.
I have
You
not
can,
get a
you
quiz.
can send me.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it has been, sir. And,
Okay, great.
and yes.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much Professor Saplial and Professor Kumar and Professor Sheikh for the wonderful openings. And thank you very much for Professor Rush for the nice words about me. I am I.J. Xu from Graduate Institute of Human Resource Management, National Changhua University of Education. And this is my topic of presentation today. And I welcome you all, the distinguished audiences and participants, for this specific and very meaningful event, carefully designed, wonderfully designed, and arranged by Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University. Now, without further ado, I will move on to the next slide. Right. So just to give you a glimpse of my previous experience and honors. Now, this is my proposed agenda, which was actually provided by Faculty of Education previously about the 7 outlines. In today's talk, I will try to stick to them as much as possible, given my expertise in human resource management. And of course, I also look forward to further exchange of ideas and or even innovative ideas about the dialogue between human resource management and education faculty, as well as education sectors. But I do have to admit one thing. It is about the challenges, the last point here, challenges in the field of human resource management in educational institutions and their resolution. This is the part I still need more time to investigate and would prefer to leave it to the last so that we perhaps, if today or after today, we could still continue our conversation on this last point. Now, first, 2 questions. What, in your view, is human resource management? And what are activities in relation to human resource management? Mind you, given my background, this is really a topic about questions from my humble viewpoint, inspected from business. Now, we must have ever heard of the following 4 phrases. First is labor management. Second, personnel management. And then, of course, human resource management, and then human capital management. Professor Saplia has started off his openings from several millions ago, from the age of human evolution. I would start from the more recent history in time after Industrial Revolution. First of all, it is about labor management. Economists have said that there are 3 elements of input that put a firm into function, producing output. good for consumers and the society, which is land, money, or capital, and labor. And later on, they added entrepreneurship. Right. In the time of the first and the second uh, revolution of industry, labor is the concept that we use to describe those who work in a company, because we don't treat those workers as human resources. We simply treat them as labor. They exercise their labor. They exert their effort in order to change money, payrolls, to support their family. And then the time goes to personnel management. At that time, the concept of human beings started to change from labor to personnel. And the function of human resource management is about personnel management. It is about desk job, as we know it. Administrative jobs, like, for example, keeping human resource records, um, payroll functions each month for those for human resources in the companies. Those are the times of personnel management. And then we gladly welcomed human resource management and the times of human capital management. These two nowadays have been used interchangeably. By human resource, we actually treat human beings, highly educated, highly knowledgeable, and highly informative, as resources of a firm, produce meaningful outcomes for customers and societies. And human capital, instead of describing a human being, we are describing the knowledge, skills, and capabilities inside a human head. So we have this, and we also try to quantify uh, those knowledge, skills, capabilities, and even other soft aspects. I will explain this later within a human head as human capital management. Now, as we focus on human resource management today, then certainly there's significance and very meaningful for we as human beings. But when we talk about human resource management, is it a function within a business, or is it a process, or is it a combination of competencies for those who perform human resource management jobs? Well, actually, basically, uh, based on my experience, from an outsider's point of view, we tend to see human resource management as a set of activities performed within a company, starting from the left-hand side, recruitment, training, payrolls, and nowadays, say in Taiwan, we are facing economic recession with the devastating effect of COVID-19. And the world economy has not recovered fully. So our manufacturing industries are now facing the issue of laying off employees in order to survive through this difficult times. And these are, given my experience, given my exchanges with many people, not within the field of human resource management, these are their conceptions of what human resource management is about. But actually, human resource management, they those who perform human resource management jobs, they do a lot more than we can imagine. First of all, it's about job analysis and job design. By that, it is about understanding a particular job's responsibilities, the type of tasks to be performed, and also the output expected from the employer or the boss. And given that understanding, they design jobs so that they recruit people to fill the needs of the jobs to be performed. But then, of course, sometimes it also involves the structuring, the division of labor, because human resource uh, personnel has to decide the type of jobs to be performed within a company in order for the company to produce the expected outcome for the company in exchange of revenues from the market. And then human resource personnel also perform human resource planning. They have to predict over sometime after today how many people are going to retire. We call it human resource attrition, or they should expect people leaving for different jobs, and they have to plan ahead in order to fill once there is a headcount vacant. So this is the jobs of human resource planning. And now in Taiwan, we also have this low child birth rate issue. We are short of labor workforce. And many companies are facing labor shortage or human resource shortage. So it is a heavy burden, a lot of workload for human resource personnel, because they must foresee and plan accordingly the gradual reduction of workforce within their companies. So they have to plan ahead where to find enough human resources, how to retain them, and how to develop them so that they become assets for the companies. But then, of course, then sometimes the company would decide to move on to digital transformation, a notion in today's opening also has been raised. So another job for activities for human resource management is human resource development. And they certainly do performance management. They don't just do performance evaluation. They must design a system of performance management for each individual employees within the company so that they help these employees to exercise their full potential for the company. And they also have to design a compensation to motivate the employees to provide, to exercise the full potential for the company. And then certainly they also have to pay attention to employee relations, occupational safety and health. They should inspect occupational safety, provide a safe and healthy work environment for their employees. And certainly nowadays, employee assistance program has becoming more and more important because of the health issues employees are facing. Because nowadays employees also suffer from multiple issues. They work under great stress, and of course, if the company suffer net loss, they don't perform well, then sometimes those employees are facing uncertain future. They might wonder whether or not they are facing laying off from their company. So many employees not just have physical issues, but also mental issues, and employee assistance program therefore becomes ever more important. Now we have more questions. Now the first question is about can human resource management be just personnel management? According to my presentation, we already know that, of course, it is not. Human resource function must do more than just personnel management. And then another question would be, can human resource management be performed by one with alternative backgrounds, such as finance? Obviously, this is something we can also think about. Now, up until now, I haven't given you the definition of what human resource management is, although we talked about activities. So basically, summing up what I have just presented, human resources management is about policies, practices, and systems that influence employees' behavior, attitudes, and performance. It involves a range of daunting tasks to be performed, okay, for the employees as well as for the companies, because it is only under the circumstances where employees do their best can the company not just survive, but gain competitive advantage against the fierce competitions companies nowadays are facing. Speaking of which, if we look at human resource management from a different perspective, this is Michael Porter's differentiation between primary and support activities within a company. Probably some of you know that Michael Porter is a great strategy scholar. He tends to look at a company from a model of business where companies must strive for their optimal performance, striving for the best revenues and profit possible. So he looked at this, and mind you, many of the business leaders that I know of, they also look at human resource management this way, because primary activities or line departments, a different way of looking at this. Line departments are those departments directly associated with money making for the company. So those departments involved, as you can see, are in the, for example, marketing and production, for example. Human resource management is not a function directly associated with money making for the company. So it is seen as staff department. Sometimes for some business leaders, they are substitutable. Okay, say for example, if their business go down, what are the departments that should be shut down? Sometimes information system department as well. Sometimes human resource management. But then we have to think more deeply into this. You don't have any person, for example, to conduct human resource development. Or say, for example, if you are trying to lay off your employees, you are asking someone who does not understand what human resource management is about to conduct the layoff job. Mind you, might end up into trouble. First of all, do you understand the labor law requirements? Those requirements are set by the government. You must fulfill if you were to lay off employees. What are the terms and conditions you must fulfill first before you lay off your employees? And what happens if your employees would like to work a union? They want to protest against the layoff. What are you going to do about it? So, Professor Ulrich put it very clearly about human resource management. He distinguished roles of human resource personnel into 4 types, differentiated by 2 axes. One is process-oriented versus people-oriented. The other, everyday, functional-oriented or future strategic roles to perform. Of course, human resource managers or personnel, they perform company infrastructure management, such as they maintain, say for example, if an employee want to file for a sick leave, okay, he or she does not feel well. So this type of human-related infrastructure management, something human resource management must do. And of course, they also retain human resource personnel, also retain personnel records. But through time, given the advancement of technology in the IT areas, very often we will see companies outsource this type of job to companies outside who perform company infrastructure management for their client companies. So human resource personnel, what do they perform? They perform employee contribution management. They manage employee performance. And if an employee's performance goes down, they have to track the root causes and find a way to provide remedies. Say, for example, is it to do with a lack of competencies, or is it to do with the employee facing issues within their families, or simply the employee suffer from, say, depression? They have to manage all these issues for the employee in order to keep employees to perform their jobs on a day-to-day basis. And then, for example, they also must perform corporate transformation management. I interviewed many companies here in Taiwan. Now they all try to perform digital transformation. It is not just about purchasing IT equipment, because it is about changing how employee jobs, how the job processes, and how employee jobs are performed, along with the new equipment and the new technology implemented within the company. And sometimes employees are facing uncertain futures. They may wonder, why were you purchasing all those IT equipment? Am I to be replaced by those machines, given the rapid development of IT technology, such as artificial intelligence? I don't know what's it like in India, but here in Taiwan, I suppose you all know about ChatGPT. In Taiwan, we actually welcome the implementation of ChatGPT. From my own viewpoint, I encourage my graduate students to use ChatGPT, best ChatGPT 4, given its immense power, in many academic related jobs, and 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 it actually provides great help for graduate students to conduct research. So we treat AI technology as friends instead of opponents. Okay, and then human resource personnel, they also must provide a strategic human resource management. By that, I mean they have to align human resource strategies with corporate strategies of development. Say, for example, 3 or 5 years from now, uh, what is going to what the company is going to become, what's going to be the goal to be achieved. Is the company undergoing some sort of transformation of businesses? Is the company streamlining their businesses? So what's going to be the future human resource needs for the company? So they must make prediction, and also they must conduct human resource planning uh, so that uh, they provide the quality and the quantity of human resources by the time the company needs. So I'm gonna skip that because I already talked about this. These are the 4 types of roles human resource management must perform. Okay, and according to the United States Society for Human Resource Management, nowadays business managers, they have to equip themselves with 9 competencies, including HR expertise. Think about that. Human resource management, according to the definition, it is not just the jobs of human resource personnel. It is also the jobs of business managers, because every day they actually manage, they lead their employees, their followers toward the desired outcomes for the company. And human resource personnel, of course, they assist. They also do all sorts of planning. They design systems for the company, but at the end of the day, business managers have to implement those systems and practices and even processes for the followers. Okay, and then alongside with human resource expertise, we also require business managers to uh, to do the ethical practice. Nowadays, today we have to touch on this issue, which is so important. It's a life and death issue nowadays for businesses. So summing up, the expertise for human resource management. According to Society for Human Resource Management, uh, as you can see, because we just now we already covered most of them, if not all. Here we also have to stress global and international human resource management. Say in Taiwan, we have company invest much in India, say like Foxconn. Okay, so the company must have faced human resource management in internationalized, or because Foxconn is such a globalized company, they made investment also in Europe, Japan, and in the United States. So obviously, human resource personnel, they face issues with global human resource management, given very different cultural backgrounds in different regions, countries, and also very different expectations and about compensation and motivation practices and leadership style, so to speak. I can expect the type of leadership style expected from an employee from Taiwan and an employee from India would be very different. So this is the type of globalized human resource management has to deal with. Sadly, also, reality in Taiwan here is that there are some human resource management jobs that are more valuable than others. Take, for example, human resource development. Values to, according to a survey in Taiwan, these are the jobs that would produce the most value for the company. However, consider the time and expenditure the company invested in such an activity. It is relatively much fewer than the time and expenditure company expends, say, on personnel, keeping personnel records and the attendance management. This is kind of ironic, really, because companies really have to appreciate the type of the value human resource management can deliver to a company's growth and competitive advantage. So the business approach to human resource management. Nowadays, I also encourage human resource managers in Taiwan here. They have to focus on firm value instead of doing the day-to-day jobs that are easily replaced by AI technology system-wise. For example, human resource system. You have to really focus on firm value. And you also have to perform evidence-based management so that you demonstrate your value to your business leaders so that they emphasize human resource management. Now, so in terms of focus on firm value, human resource managers must ask themselves on the following questions. Okay, and human resource managers, they also ask themselves, do they have the necessary skills and competencies so that they really deliver value for the company? Say, for example, do they understand how the business make money? A skill, a competency we call business acumen. Will they be able to communicate with line managers if they have good ideas? Okay, if they are to help line employees to deliver value, to perform their best, will they be able to communicate with line managers so that line managers accept their ideas and they would like to implement so that the ideas and the system designed for line employees, line departments? And then the type of evidence, providing figures, numbers to their employers, say the time per hire or the cost per hire, because every activity in relation to human resource management costs time and money. And then the early turnover. What is the early turnover rate? You have a new recruit, okay, but after 3 months, will they choose to stay within the company or they simply split. Okay, are there many employees facing career plateau? Because it's to do with the morale of the company. Okay, and they could also consider the investment of human resource per employee as opposed to the gain from the investment. Okay. Now, next, we talk briefly about the major human resource management theories. I provide three theories here. One from the Faculty of Economy, transaction cost theory, and then human capital theory, and then resource-based view of the firm. And of course, we also have micro-level theories here, but we are going to skip those because these are to do with individuals and also teams. Say like social learning theory, you must have known this. Social learning theory and self-determination theory and justice theory. It is about equity and fairness. So first of all, it's about transaction cost theory. It is about make or buy decision in terms of human resource management. There is a job vacant here. Where are we going to acquire a human resource for the vacant job opening? Do we do internal transfer? Say we ask existing employees agreement. Okay, we ask the person willingness to transfer from his or her department to this job, internal hiring, or we would like to post a job ad in the job market. We would like to recruit someone from outside. If you do internal recruitment, you would pay the so-called bureaucracy cost because you first of all you have to do internal training. You'll help your existing employee to get used to the new job, given the job needs and skills and capabilities required from the job. Or you pay transaction costs if you do external hiring. Okay, so transaction cost theory tells us that whether or not you want to develop your human resources, say your manager, internally, or you want to headhunt a manager in a job marketer, in a job market, it all depends on how you decide, how you compare the transaction cost versus bureaucracy cost. Okay, you do external hiring, sometimes the transaction cost is fewer than the bureaucracy cost, then you do external hiring. Otherwise, you do internal hiring. So that's the typical way economists see human resource development issues. And human capital theory take a very different scope and perspective because they see human resources as human resources. Okay, theorists say that human resources have knowledge, skills, capabilities, and others, such as they have soft aspects like work attitudes, their inner motivation, their emotions, for example. Okay, so they do deliver value for the company. Okay, so company must invest in human resource management, whether or not they do internal hiring. Okay, they must put emphasis on human capital development. Okay, I think given time constraint, I would like to skip this part. Okay, because scholars do have a model about the aligning human resource management practices along with different types of human resource needs within the company, and they have this model for practitioners to adhere to as well. If you have interest in this, we could exchange ideas later on after this talk. Now, and then resource-based view. It talks about a resource, a really competitive advantage creating resource must meet the following 4 criteria. As far as human resource management is concerned, a human manager must ask, or a business leader must ask, are your human resource valuable? By that, I mean, will they be able to produce valuable output that are seen as valuable by your customers, your market? Okay, and also, are those human resources rare in the job market? So you have access to those human resources, but your competitors cannot. Okay, and also, are those human resources difficult to imitate? And also, are those human resources difficult to be substituted or replaced? Nowadays, human resources also face fierce competition from the rapid development of AI technology. So, human resources in your company, are they really non-substitutable? Okay, if your companies do have human resources or human capital that meet the VRIN criteria, then congratulations, you do have firm-specific resources that can create long-term competitive advantage for your company. Okay, very often, very smart and ingenious people, or we call them top talent. They really are the type of resources that we are looking at. Okay, but actually, there's something has gone wrong here, because the human resource literature provides empirical evidence suggested that human capital does not always lead to firm performance, that even adversely affect radical innovation the firm is going to pursue. So what seems to be the problem with human capital theory? Because their explanation, its explanation and prediction very often does not hold. Okay, and what's the use of developing human capital or human resources for your company? Okay, there are several reasons, several possible explanations for this. First of all, is how you deploy, how you make use of your top talent within your company. It comes down to human resource policies. Okay, are you offering enough training and development opportunities? Are you offering good opportunities for them to exercise their best effort and to exercise their full potential? And what's the compensation package? But then, of course, top talent costs money. That's something we also have to think about. Last, human resources become human liability. Okay, and I here give you an idea that might be helpful to think about. Very often, top talent, they are not the so-called star employees. They are not good collaborators. Okay? By social capital, I mean informal relationship or the ability to develop a good rapport relationship with colleagues, with your superiors, with your followers, and even with your suppliers, your customers. Okay, so this is social capital. Okay, so once your company hire top talent, you must think of a way of developing bonding social capital as well as bridging social capital for them as well. By bonding social capital, I mean if they are willing to maintain a harmonious working relationship with their colleagues, that's bonding social capital. And what about bridging social capital? If they encounter problems, when bridging social capital, we are saying the ability to make connections. Okay, if you say encounter a scientific problem, where do you go to or whom do you turn to for help? We'll be able to, if you don't know the source, we'll be able to locate it, and we'll be able to then try to connect the source of the solution. So this is what bridging social capital is about. We'll be able to transform your top talent to be capable of doing bridging jobs. So this is another way of looking at this. Okay. Now, nowadays, here I present two sustainable challenges for human beings. One is business environments are getting more and more volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And our day-to-day life, we cannot live without companies and organizations. But as companies and organizations are facing this world of VUCA, you see many companies, they do well, but very soon they go bankrupt. They shut down their businesses. See what COVID-19 has had an impact on businesses globally. So many good companies, they simply vanish. Okay, because they are facing VUCA environments that they have never faced before. And then, of course, companies are facing, we human beings also facing environmental, social, and governance consideration and request. So first, this VUCA issue, okay, organizational responses to the issue of VUCA. On the left-hand side, okay, lower left-hand side, vertical structure, the so-called bureaucratic structure we very know of. And then on the upper right hand side, we have this organic structure. So we must transform our businesses so that they are becoming more and more organic as opposed to mechanistic. Those who know the changes well, or perhaps perfectly, will be those who face their market on a day-to-day basis. Your employees may know more than your CEOs top managers, then so that in terms of the transitions in the market, in customer needs. So you should empower. So you give them the right, the ability to make decisions, to make fast decisions for the company, and they can also do the kind of job, they can do their jobs right for the company. The company should also share information to lower level employees so that they know what's going on for the company. Okay, instead of counting on top-down decision making, many companies have this long command chain starting from the bottom to the top. We cannot just have the time, have this luxury top managers do not have the luxury to wait for employees to report everything bottom up to go to the top and wait for top managers to make decisions and then transmit their decisions top down to employees in order to adjust to the changes in the market. Okay, it will be too late. Okay, so nowadays, decentralized decision making, something we look into. We say it is getting more and more important for companies. And this organic organization has evolved into the so-called agile organization. Okay, companies are relying on more and more the self-managing teams. Okay, instead of emphasize the authority of managers, the roles of managers are transforming into supportive and coaching instead of giving direction, guidance, and command. Okay, and teams should also set up goals for themselves. They also manage the progress, how they are going to perform their jobs, what's the output they're going to deliver for the company. And of course, here we must emphasize those teams must be given accountability, not just responsibility, but accountability, because toward the end of a fiscal year, the team's performance must be transparent throughout the company so that everyone will be able to see how these teams have been performed, and would there be any problems that needs rectification, for example, so that teams will then have this accountability. They must take responsibility for their own decision and also their performance. I give you a realistic example of agile organization. Perhaps many of you have heard of this company, Zappos, established by Tony Hsieh, a second generation family. Tony Hsieh's parents actually migrated from Taiwan and resided in the United States. And Tony Hsieh, the second generation in the United States, established this Zappos. He created Zappos as a company. He called it holacracy. Okay, these are the business they are in. Okay, it's an online shopping company, selling shoes, clothes, fashion wares, and bags, for example. Okay, and this Tony Hsieh one day had this fascinating idea. Can we establish a company without management? And he decided to experiment on that. So he, you know, he said he made announcement to the whole company saying that we are going to implement something unprecedented. Okay, we are going to eliminate all management from the company. Okay, from now on, we are a company of without management. People manage themselves. Okay, they manage for the companies, and people have to form teams. They must collaborate. Okay, and everyone's ideas. Okay, everyone should voice to the company as long as it is constructive and productive for the company. And they say, I will wait for your decision, he said to his employees and managers as well. Okay, if you made your decision, if you think you cannot cope, okay, you could leave today. I could have your resignation today by, say, 4 or 5 p.m. today. I will give you 4,000 US dollars. He called it a bonus for leaving the company. Okay, and then for those of you who decide to stay, I expect you to perform. Okay, do your best for the company. So Zappos transformed from a hierarchical organization into an organization of holacracy, actually agile organization. And how has the company performed? Zappos performed very well. Okay, you could search media. There are many stories about Zappos and about how wonderful the ideas employees propose for Zappos and how they make money. And of course, Zappos, they do share information. Okay, they all Zappos employees within Zappos and teams of employees, they share all the information, including performance information, throughout the organization. So they decide the bonus, year-end bonus, based on how much contribution each team deliver to Zappos. Okay. So these are the various characteristics summarized by McKinsey Company, but I probably you already had I'm sure you already had a good notion about what agile organization is like. So the company has become agile-like nowadays. We can see it is a global trend. Okay, like structure is a flat structure, like a process, the whole compensation process differs, and ways of doing things differ, and so on and so forth. And the people, they manage their expectations by manage their own performance, so to speak. Okay, so human resource management nowadays within an agile organization, okay, they put emphasis not just hard skills, competencies, like technical skills, like the competencies, the expertise we used to know, such as accounting, such as law, such as business, how to do business planning, for example. But they also must focus on soft competencies, such as communication, okay, being able to collaborate, and is the person has this mentality that always keen on learning, for example, and is the person agile in their thinking, because every day they are facing sometimes very rapid changes in the market, okay, or in a very different competitive situation. Okay, they even allow, because of teamwork, they even allow new way of designing jobs. We refer to job crafting. Okay, employees can decide their own responsibilities and the type of jobs and tasks they're trying to perform, and also they must promise the output they are going to deliver. Okay, and the rest you can see for yourself, and it also involves various changes in relation to pay and performance management, and the way leaders lead their followers, and change of organizational culture as well. Now, I would like to propose, given the prevalent emphasis on organizations being more and more agile, okay, even in the public sector, based on my hands-on understanding of government in Singapore, okay, nowadays, Singaporean government also, they try to make itself more agile than ever, instead of getting more and more bureaucratic, okay, in order to address various challenges, including ESG. So given the getting more and more widespread on the notion of organizational agility, perhaps in my humble viewpoint, education sectors can put more emphasis on developing human resources that have the following qualities. First of all, emotional stability. And second, psychological capital. Have you ever heard of this term, psychological capital? It talks about one's confidence in oneself in dealing with in facing adversity. Okay, so the person also has a great resilience when confronted by frustration, setbacks, or even failure. Okay, one with optimistic thinking, always keep hope. Okay, and one would try to their very best to thrive in various situations. Okay, and educate someone who becomes mentally agile. Okay, and put elements of in the program that emphasize communication and collaboration, and within the element of education program, perhaps you instill growth mindset to students. Okay, and giving them, I know many education programs, they do emphasize lifelong learning because environments do change a lot and very frequently. Okay, and how are we going to make great use of new technology for our learning as well as career development? This may also be something from my own very humble viewpoint education sectors can address. Okay, we move on to challenges we all face with regard to ESG, environmental, social, and governance considerations. Questions. Which aspect is the most important to address from the viewpoint of a firm? Or even from the viewpoint of the policymakers? Okay. And then which aspect is complex to deal with from the viewpoint of a firm or a policymaker? Okay. Now, I would say the most important issue to address would be corporate governance. Okay. And complex to deal with will be social consideration, various social issues, equity between gender, for example. Nowadays, we call gender parity. Issues to do with equity in educational opportunities and resources. Okay, issues to do with the distribution of wealth, how to eliminate poverty. Okay, issues to do with public health. All these are very difficult and complex issues to deal with. Sometimes it's not just to do with a country in and of itself. Sometimes it requires country-to-country collaboration to deal with. Okay, given nowadays, the whole world has been functioning in such an inextricably way. Okay, so this whole notion of ESG really comes from our notion of how we are looking at firm effectiveness. Okay, on your upper right-hand side, you can see the strategic constituents approach. Because previously, we all say that firms, they exist to make money. Yes and no. Okay, nowadays, we are inspecting firms with a more and more stringent, serious viewpoint. What if the firm make money through unethical manners or even unlawful manners? Can we allow such a firm to exist in our society? This is the perspective of strategic constituents, or the so-called stakeholder. Okay, firms exist because there are so many stakeholders involved here. Direct stakeholder, previously we will say these are the 7 direct stakeholders of a firm: suppliers, creditors, okay, the banks that loan the money to the firm, okay, the firm's employees, the firm's owners, stockholders, okay, government, of course. Government has the obligation to oversee firm operation. And of course, a firm must pay their taxes to government. Okay, and also customers and local communities the firm is situated in. These are the direct strategic constituents or stakeholders. But the presumption of the legitimacy of a firm has been moved away from pursuing maximal revenues and profits at all cost to how to balance the interest of the firm as well as its stakeholders. And nowadays, we even expand this notion of stakeholder, because we discover on a day-to-day basis, firms emit through its operation, emits, say, carbon dioxide, causes of global warming. And so stakeholders nowadays do not just limit to human beings, human society, but also the whole natural world, this earth. So the notion of ESG come into play. But do we see a connection between human resource management and ESG considerations? And of course, I will provide human resource solutions to ESG consideration. And then I will provide my, again, humble opinions about potential solutions, responses from education sectors. Okay. Now, environmental consideration. To give a few examples here. Okay, 3 examples. So how do human resource management help companies to cope with these issues? Okay, they can make policies for the companies. They can provide employee training and education to deal with these various issues. I know some companies in Taiwan, they also provide incentive program, including they hold internal competition between teams or departments. Okay, because environmental considerations, various issues, the performance can be measured. Okay, they measure carbon emission. Okay, at the end of a fiscal year, and they use that to decide how they are going to allocate bonuses and rewards to different departments or different teams of individuals. Okay, in this respect, I think education sectors can also offer various types of education programs about environmental issues, very imminent and urgent to deal with for human beings and also for the whole surviving environment. And within such programs, perhaps education sectors could initiate business case forums, okay, where business cases are analyzed and discussed, so that we know how businesses could deal with, or human beings can deal with environmental considerations and issues. And these are the various social considerations and issues nowadays we must face. Okay, and I must let you know that I developed this slide inspired by the GRI standard. Okay, a cross-national standard on the reporting of ESG. Okay, now so these issues involve, say, labor employment relations, occupational health and safety, training and education. Say, at the end of the day, business owners and leaders must ask themselves, do we offer quality employment environment for our employees? Do they work under a very unhealthy situations? What's going to be the remedy for that? Are we addressing employee health, not just physically and psychologically enough? Okay, and do employees have equal opportunity to access training and education opportunities? What's our diversity and equality program? And do we really provide job opportunities as well as promotion opportunities to different ethnic groups, for example, non-discriminately. Okay? Do we give our employees freedom of association and collective bargaining? Does our society still have this child labor issue? Okay, instead of sending children to schools, do they have to work to support their family? And so on and so forth. Okay, they enforce compulsory labor issues, rights of indigenous people, various social issues to address. Complex and difficult. So from the perspective of human resource management, companies strongly must attend to government laws and regulations if there's any. And human resource function must make policies in order to transform company culture and practices so that they do their best effort to deal with social issues. And what's going to be the DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion programs for the company? Do we pay enough attention to such programs? And companies should have employee training and development so they attend to social issues. And do they engage in charitable acts from the point of view of the company? Okay, and build an ethical culture for the company. And from my opinions, responses from education sectors to deal with social issues could be bringing awareness to students. Okay, let the students be aware of various social issues the society is facing, and allow students to discuss openly how to deal with all those social issues. Because some of the social issues might inextricably intertwined with the country, the society's past history, or the institutional setup of the society. Okay, and again, business case analysis and discussion might be helpful in this respect. And I look into social innovation. I found out that India is such a great incubator for social innovation. You must have heard of Project Listen Up, Aditya, etc., etc. I really admire India, a great nation of social innovation to deal with various social issues. But likewise, in Taiwan, we also have social enterprises dedicated to solving various social issues rooted in Taiwanese society. So education sectors, I think, could address more social innovation and provide input into various types of social innovation possibilities into education programs. Last but not least, governance considerations. Within minutes, I will conclude my talk today. First of all, because many of us really are not that familiar with governance. So I give you a definition of corporate governance. And you will know why it is the most important issue to address. It is a set of policies, practices, processes and rules and regulations that direct, govern, and control a firm toward its mission and goals. So, put simply, corporate governance has everything to do with how a company make its profit, okay? How a company operate within a society. Is it going to operate in an ethical way? Okay. Is it going to operate in a law-abiding way? Okay. Does it have any rules or regulations against bribery, anti-corruption, for example? Okay. And how does the company treat its employees? How does the company treat its suppliers? What's the philosophy the company is when facing customers? Okay, so these are all to do with corporate governance. And to be more specific, these are all various issues, okay, to do with corporate governance. So you can see, you can sense the magnitude and also the importance of corporate governance. For that, I would say human resource management play very important role in corporate governance as well. Okay, because they could be the advisory or they provide a consultation for board of directors. They may engage itself in top management selection and development. They may decide top management pay and compensation packages for the company. They also have their say in top management performance evaluation. They certainly play important role in business succession planning and also all sorts of policy making and practices designing for corporate governance. I'm not so sure in this respect. Perhaps I could draw your input in this issue, but here again, I humbly present potential responses from education sectors in addressing corporate governance issues and considerations. Initiate dialogues between business and education sectors. My experience in National Changhua University of Education here, I know many business students in business programs, they also take education credit, okay? They take credit from education programs, take courses to earn credit from education programs. But I don't see many students in education programs taking courses provided by business programs. So there's sort of one-way exchange here. So perhaps there should be more dialogues between business and education sectors, and for the benefit of possible changes and refinement of education programs, so that corporate governance, the most important issues, can be addressed. Okay, and again, business case analysis and discussion might be helpful, and inviting business leaders, okay, successful in corporate governance, to give lectures, to share their experiences, and so on and so forth. So these are the potential responses from education sectors. Okay, now, as I said earlier on, my final questions would be, today I will not be able to address challenges in the field of human resource management in educational institutions. Okay, I confess my lack of knowledge in this respect and possible resolutions. If time permits, we could have some exchanges of ideas. Otherwise, I look forward to more discussion and exchanges afterwards. Okay, thank you. If you uh, have questions or questions of clarifications, please speak up. Now, I would like to turn the microphone to today's host. Thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my ideas and knowledge with you. And thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, sir. Really, it is a great just you have given the great talk with our students and faculty members. Really, they have just sent their message, different messages, that it was a very fantastic lecture just delivered by the professor Jayashu. Really great, sir. You have focused so many things and you have just talked about the human resource management and its impacts. Doctor, Professor, I should talk about the industrial management, labor management, and requirement of the capital for the development. Really, it was very innovative, sir. You have also focused on the human resource management and how we manage all the activities to fulfill the job demands and how to fix the responsibility, especially in the field of education, according to society demand in present scenario. You have also explained the Michael Porter's primary and support activity to simply define concept of HRM, human resource management, an active role of each individuals according to their pre and futuristic strategic plan set before execution and after execution. Yeah, simply we may say that process and product approach in reference of cost effectiveness to maximize the benefits of users such as support of family, ethical culture, social motivation, and government consideration. Really, it was very fruitful for every human resource, those who are involved in this field. For the same, human capital is the important, and you have also added the some emphasis on the resource-based views, and uh, I stress that if the properly handled, the shift to economical and socially sustainable economy can be powerful force for improving employment opportunity, promoting social justice, and ending poverty. By promoting green practice to all business and jobs, greater resource and energy efficient, preventing pollution, and managing sustainable use of natural resource, which foster creativity, strengthen resilience, and create saving that support employment and new investment. You also suggested only active participation can lead to sustainable growth of the workplace. You have also said that the employer, labor, and government are not passive parties, but only observers, but rather changing agents who may create fresh approach to endeavoring and project protect the environment of for both current and future generation. Thanks, Professor. Really, it was very involving for us. And I really thanks from the Swami Vivekanand Subharti University. You have accepted our invitation. And Professor, I Che issue once again, we meet you with new concept. Really, I request to you. Now I invite Dr. Mumtaz for the vote of formal vote of thanks. So, Dr. Mumtaz, now platform is yours. And thank you, Professor Che issue.
I firmly believe that this guest lecture must have been a rewarding experience for all of us. It must have benefited each one of us by enhancing our knowledge base. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks now. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's event a success. I sincerely thank our expert on the topic of today's guest lecture, Dr. I. Cheshu, who despite his busy schedule had taken out time and immensely contributed towards the success of this event. I would also like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, Major General Dr. G.K. Thapiyal sir, for his kind permission to organize this guest lecture and words of encouragement. Also, I express my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Chief Executive Officer, Professor Dr. Shailya Raj, for her direction, support, and vision. I am very thankful to the Dean of Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Professor Dr. Sandeep Kumar, for pitching in and contributing towards the success of this event. I'm also thankful to the head Department of Education, Faculty of Education, Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Professor Dr. Anuj Raj, for his valuable guidance in the conduct of this event as well as much needed contribution as and when required. I must not forget to thank our assistant professor, Dr. Bhuvnesh Sharma, who had wonderfully coordinated this entire event. I also thank all the faculty members of Swami Vivekanand Subharti University for their efficient discharge of responsibilities and making this event a great success. I thank the audience for being a wonderful listener. Last but not the least, my sincere thanks to the technical support team of Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, Meerut, for working behind the scene to make this event a success. Thank you all.